Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today's video is going to hopefully be a helpful one. So, backstory is I have this huge pile of empty beauty products, makeup, skincare, personal care products that I don't know what to do with. There are things that I don't think are recyclable with just like my city's curbside pickup recycling. They have a specific list of things that they accept, and these are things that are not on that list. And so I've been trying to figure out how to actually recycle them. It's been something that I've been wondering about for a long time. So I thought maybe it would be helpful to share what I do find out in case anybody else is wondering the same thing as me. I have all kinds of stuff in here. Empty deodorant tube, is that what you'd call this? It doesn't have a number on it, so I don't know if my city takes this type of plastic. Empty e.l.f. Holy Hydration face cream. This does not have a number anywhere on it, and I think I saw a tweet from e.l.f. saying that a lot of their packaging is not recyclable when someone asked, and so I don't think that this is recyclable in a normal like city curbside type of thing. Some airless pumps that don't have any symbol on them, toothpaste tube, mascara tubes. I don't have any makeup compacts in here, but that's another thing I've been wondering about, like when this powder is empty, how can I recycle this? These are all things that I've been wondering about, and so I've been doing a lot of research on how to properly dispose of these things, how to recycle them, and so I wanted to share that with you in today's video. The really important thing I think from what I've found is that you always want to check your local recycling guidelines first. So, you know, what's accepted in my city's recycling is not the same as what may be accepted in Seattle, where I used to live. They actually took a lot more than what my city currently does. And what ends up happening is a lot of people will, they call it like aspirational recycling. People will put things in the recycling bin even if they're not sure if it's recyclable, just kind of hoping that it is. But if that happens enough, which it does happen a lot, in a lot of cities, that can actually contaminate everything that it's surrounded by, I think, and a lot of recycling centers will actually just send all of that off to a landfill because it would be too costly to sort through and weed out the things that are not actually accepted. I did read one article in the New York Times where they were talking about this issue. One waste management executive actually said that about 25% of all recycling picked up by waste management is contaminated to the point that it is sent to landfill. So it is a pretty big issue, and it is really important to make sure that what you're putting in your recycling bin is actually something that can be recycled. And then you also want to make sure, most places will say that plastic needs to be like clean and dry. You don't want to put a shampoo bottle that has this much shampoo sitting in the bottle because that's going to make it harder for them to then recycle that. You don't want to put things with food residue on them, that kind of thing. And every place is different, so definitely check with your local guidelines to see what they say. Some places will do like, I know where my parents live, they have a completely single stream waste system. So everything, garbage and recycling, all goes into the same thing and then they sort it out. I am kind of skeptical of that. That sounds like, I don't understand how they could possibly do that, but that's what they say. So it really is different everywhere. Some places might tell you, you know, when in doubt, throw it out. Others might say when in doubt, put it in the recycling. So you really need to check with your local guidelines. But I would say if you're not positive, just to err on the side of caution and don't put things that you're not sure are recyclable into your recycle bin. So for example, in my city, they say it needs to be clean, empty, and free of food residue, no mixed materials, it needs to be bigger than a Post-it note, and hard. So they don't take like plastic film, it needs to be like hard plastic. And the items accepted are hard plastic number 1 through 7. So most of the time on plastic bottles or containers, you should be able to look at the bottom and find a little recycling symbol with a number in the middle. This one actually doesn't have that, but that's how I would know if it's something that they would take. They take cups, trays, bottles, and containers with lids on, and they say no styrofoam or bioplastics. They take bulky hard plastics number 1 through 7, including buckets, crates, and totes. Metal, steel, and aluminum cans, aerosol cans with the lids off. It's very specific, and I'm sure it's different everywhere, but aluminum foil and trays, again, would need to be free of food residue. Glass bottles and jars with the lids off, cardboard packaging and boxes clean and flattened, mixed paper including office paper, junk mail, paper bags, newspaper, paperback books and magazines, and lastly, milk and juice cartons. So that leaves me wondering, okay, what about toothpaste tubes? What about deodorant sticks that don't have a number on them? Or anything like that. What about mascara and lip gloss containers? All of that, I've been hoping to be able to find answers to how I can recycle those things. So there are a few ways to recycle kind of hard to recycle materials. Some brands in particular have their own kind of take back recycling program. A few examples that I found, Pacifica, they actually have a partnership with Preserve, which makes razors and toothbrushes. You can send any Pacifica product back to them. They will sort it and make sure that it gets recycled properly. And any number 5 plastic that you send them will be recycled into Preserve toothbrushes and razors. You can also earn points when you send back products, so there's like a little bit of an incentive if you're a big fan of Pacifica. I am personally, I love their brand. There's also one that's really popular is MAC. They have a Back to MAC program where if you collect 6 empty MAC containers, you can return them to the store and they will give you a free lipstick of your choice. Kiehl's also has a recycling program. If you return 1 empty full-size container, you get 1 stamp, and then 10 stamps will earn you a free travel size product. Lush is another great one. They're a very kind of environmentally conscious brand. They're little pots where they package their like masks and things like that. If you return 5 clean empty pots, so those little black kind of jars, to a shop, you'll get a free face mask. And those will get reused once again for more products. And then there are some brands that have partnerships with a company called Terracycle, and it turns out that Terracycle is, from what I've gathered, the best way to recycle things that aren't otherwise recyclable when it comes to cosmetics and personal care packaging. L'Occitane has a partnership with Terracycle. I think if you go into a L'Occitane store, you can drop off any makeup empties and they will supposedly get properly recycled. Burt's Bees also has a partnership with Terracycle where if you send back your Burt's Bees products, they will get recycled. Tom's of Maine is another one. They have a partnership with Terracycle where you can send back your Tom's toothpaste and other Tom's products. I believe with L'Occitane you can bring into their store anything. It doesn't have to be L'Occitane branded. I hope I'm pronouncing that brand correctly. But there's also a separate program. It is a recycling partnership with the brand Garnier, but they take all brands of skincare, hair care, and cosmetic packaging, which is amazing. So that pretty much accounts for everything that I've been collecting in this box. They take, and I've already signed up, they take lip balm tubes and caps, soap dispensers and tubes, body wash caps, lotion dispensers, shampoo caps, conditioner caps, hair gel tubes and caps, hair spray triggers, and they also take a lot of cosmetic packaging. This is a big one. They take lipstick cases, lip gloss tubes, mascara tubes, foundation packaging, powder compacts, eyeshadow, bronzer, all kinds of compacts with those kinds of things, eyeliner pencils, eyeshadow tubes, concealer tubes, concealer sticks, lip liner pencils, basically all the stuff that I've been wondering about. Any kind of tube like this is not something that I think I can recycle in my area, that I can send to Terracycle. So what I'm gonna do is, I already collect my makeup empties so I can do like a year-end makeup empties video, but at the end of the year, I think I'll have enough stuff collected to actually send to Terracycle. I definitely want to minimize how often I'm sending to them just because shipping something does also have a carbon footprint, I guess you could say. So you want to try to minimize doing that as much as you can. So that's kind of the answer. That's at least what I'm going to be doing, is in the future I will make use of brands that have their own like take back programs and things like that, because I think that's great, especially if you can get some like points in return or something like that. But other than that, if it's anything that I don't know what to do with, it seems to me like Terracycle is the answer. So one other thing I wanted to mention, a lot of people already know about this, but there is an organization called the Appalachian Wildlife Rescue, and they have a Wands for Wildlife program where if you send back your clean used mascara wands, they will actually use them to rehabilitate wildlife. I think it's supposed to be good for combing out, like they say, fly eggs and larvae from the fur of little baby wildlife. So that is a good thing to know about. But keep in mind they only accept wands in October and April. I think there's been a lot of awareness around this on YouTube, and so a lot of people know about it now, and I think they were probably getting inundated with way too many mascara wands. So that is a good thing to know about, but just only send them in October and April. You print out like a form on their website and all of that. But they also do say on their website they have an even more urgent need for funds and supplies. So if you're able to, in addition to donating your wands, maybe you could also consider another type of donation as well. So that is kind of the answer of how to recycle makeup. A lot of people have been asking me, because I think I've mentioned here and there that I was trying to figure this out myself. And so I thought, you know, hopefully it would help to pass on whatever information I found. I figured if it's something that I didn't know about, there are probably a lot of other people out there that don't know about it either. If you know of any other brands with recycling programs, let us know, because I would be curious to know if I missed anything. One last thing I did want to really point out and just to keep in mind is you've probably heard the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. Recycle is the last one. So it's even better to reduce your waste overall, because recycling does still take resources. You know, it does take energy to recycle something into something else. So if you can reduce your consumption, that's even better. That's what I'm also trying to do, is just buy less, consume less. You know, it's kind of hard as a YouTuber because I do like to review new products and stuff, but I try my best whenever I can to just reduce my consumption as much as is feasible. Reusing things is also great. So one example of that is this. This is like a little e.l.f. loose under eye setting powder. I removed the sifter a while ago when I was using it up, but this is the perfect little jar to use for travel. I can put, you know, a little bit of face cream in here, eye cream, maybe even a little bit of foundation. I have a lot of little kind of jars like this that I do save specifically for travel, so that's one way you can reuse things. Of course, there's a lot of things you can't really reuse, like I can't reuse a mascara tube, so it's helpful to know how I can recycle that. But also seeking out packaging that's maybe reusable or refillable. There are a lot of brands that do offer programs like that. I think one example is Alima Pure. They have like a refillable pressed powder foundation. Elate Cosmetics I think also does refillable products. I'm sure there are many others, but just being a little bit more conscious of what is reusable before you buy. And then recycling, of course, is great also if the other two options aren't there. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out because, you know, recycling is great, but you know, it doesn't really solve the problem. It's just kind of it's a way of reducing the negative impact. So I also wanted to say, don't beat yourself up if you can't, you know, maybe you don't have the means to ship things off to Terracycle. Don't beat yourself up for that. This, you know, the environmental crisis that we're living in isn't your fault. Like, it's not, the blame does not fall on us as individuals. You know, we can chip away at the negative impacts as much as we can. We can do our best to reduce our waste as much as we can, but at the end of the day, change has to happen from a systemic level in order to really change things. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. Like, we all should definitely do our best, but don't beat yourself up for not being perfect. None of us are perfect. It's very hard to be zero waste. It's, you know, we're all just doing our best. So that is about it for this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any other brands you want me to know about or recycling programs, maybe you live in another country where Terracycle isn't an option and you know of other programs as well, let us know. I'm sure it would be helpful for everyone to be able to hear as many options as possible. So I really look forward to reading your comments, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.